Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. How are you doing? Are you having a good weekend? I think I am. Went to a gig yesterday, little music gig, not a boxing gig, and had a good time with a friend. Despite all the, you must wear a mask business. When everyone got inside, of course, they took the masks off and we all just had a good time. But how long's all that nonsense going to go on for? I don't know. But anyway. Let's talk a bit of boxing, and as you may know, if you're already subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, why haven't you? Please subscribe. But you'll know that I do these occasional videos where I talk about like hidden boxing wars, real gems that have slipped under the radar as far as memory goes and history goes. And today I wanted to talk about the IBF Bantamweight title fight back in 1987, July 1987 I think it was, between the champion Kelvin Seabrooks of North Carolina in the US and France's Thierry. This was an old 15-round fight. If you're old enough to remember 15-round fights, you're probably as old as me, which is quite old. But this was an absolute war. And if you're a fan of the small guys, and nowadays we've got so many great smaller fighters at flyweight to bantamweight, you know, Chocolatito, Sorungvasai, Cuadras, Estrada, you know, real depth of talent in those lower divisions. But the smaller guys have always interested me personally because they're so busy, they throw so many punches, and they frequently provide us with, you know, massive entertainment. And this is one for the ages, which, like I say, sadly isn't remembered as well as it should be. But again, Kelvin Seabrooks was the champion, Thierry was the challenger, and it took place in 1987 for the IBF Bantamweight title. Now, at the time, the IBF was still a relatively new organisation, but it had gathered a lot of pace, a lot of respect, and it had some good champions, and it had become established as what was considered a legit world title. So, let's talk a bit about the fighters first. You got the challenger was Thierry of France, who at the time was 21 wins, no defeats, and had fought at European level, domestic and European level. But although this was a big jump up to world title level, he had shown flashes of very good form. He held a 6-round decision win over Vincenzo Belcastro, who would go on to be European Bantamweight champion and would fight Nassim Hamed, actually, lose the title in that fight. On points, went the distance with Hamed, which is no mean feat. And Jacob, early on in both their careers, outpointed him over, I think it was a 6-rounder. So Jacob had shown flashes of very, very good form, that he could be something better than just a domestic level fighter. And in the opposing corner, you had the African-American Kelvin Seabrooks, who had, now he was an interesting character, because he originally was considered just a journeyman. And when he fought, when he was the champion, he won the IBF title from Miguel Maturana, which was considered an upset. Prior to that, he'd beaten Lewis Curtis for the USBA Bantamweight title, which got him the title shot, and he was expected to lose both those fights, but didn't. So he went into this fight with Jacob, and I think he had 23 wins and 13 defeats. So although he was world champ, the IBF champ, he was considered there for the taking, which is why they brought him over to France to fight Jacob. Now, when this fight starts, don't blink, because it's action all the way, all the way. It's one of those attritional fights. You've got Jacob, very, very busy, very come forward, in your face, southpaw fighter, liked it up close, and Seabrooks was pretty much the same. Seabrooks, there were a few fighters around in those mid to late 80s, early 90s. People like Buster Drayton, who was IBF light middleweight champion. Freddie Pendleton, IBF lightweight champion. A lot of IBF champions had these patchy early records where they had lost fights, a lot of fights, but had worked their way into contention. And Buster Drayton certainly and Kelvin Seabrooks had very similar styles, all action styles. Go forward, throw punches, take a few, get rocked, come back, rock the other guy, get knocked down, get up, knock the other guy down. It was all that sort of attritional, almost like a Matthew Saad Muhammad type of philosophy. And this fight illustrates that perfectly. Because from the word go, it's an attritional war. Seabrooks at times looked out on his feet. Jacob would punch himself out, come back, looked out on his feet. There were knockdowns. I'm not going to tell you too much about the fight because you might want to watch it, and I'm going to put the link in the description for you to watch. Quality of the video isn't great. It's on YouTube, but have a look. It's well worth it. Well worth your time. So there's this war going on, and, you know, who's going to win? You don't know until the end who's going to win. And in fact, it's a controversial ending. I'll say that much. It is a controversial ending. But take a look at it, because it's an absolute barn burner. One for the ages. Yeah, Kelvin Seabrooks defending his IBF Bantamweight title against the undefeated Thierry. Have a look at it. Both guys would, Seabrooks, I think, both guys would end their careers, you know, their careers would peter out, as so many fighters do. Seabrooks, I think, ended up with 28 wins and 22 defeats or something like that. Something patchy record, but doesn't tell the whole story about this guy as a fighter or a champion. And Jacob, again, lost several fights very late on in his career. I think he finished at 39 wins and 6 defeats. Maybe a draw thrown in, I can't remember. But two fighters who, I don't know about in France, maybe Jacob is remembered, but I think Seabrooks certainly isn't remembered as well as he should be. But to have a look at the fight, it's a great, great fight. Boxing's hidden wars. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, hit the like button and please subscribe to this channel. We're trying to build it up. I much appreciate your time, and you take care of yourself. You enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll speak again soon. Bye-bye for now.